Black Desert is a $2 billion mega resort located in southern Utah. Southern Utah is already home to some of the best golf in the United States. However, when Black Desert opened in 2023, it immediately took over the spot as the best course in the entire state of Utah. Black Desert also continues to go up the rankings for one of the best golf resorts in the country as well. In October of 2024, the PGA Tour will begin coming to Black Desert annually. In the spring of 2025, the LPGA Tour will do the same. So today's round is actually the first round that I ever played at Black Desert. I have played 4 or 5 rounds since this date. However, this was back in February, and I wanted to wait until it got closer to the PGA Tour tournament to upload this video. But these shots that you're seeing, these are the first times that I ever saw the golf course as well. So I was learning a bit and made a few mistakes that I probably wouldn't make the second time that I played this course. The first hole at Black Desert is an uphill dogleg left par 4, and it is a long hole, and so you got to make sure to take plenty of club off the tee. I'm only hitting a 4-wood here, and I hit it good. Yeah, I realized I had way longer into the hole than I really should have. I should have just hit a driver. You can play this a little bit left of that bunker that you see from the tee box, so there's really no reason to be hitting a 4-wood like this. You do need to get as much as you can out of it, otherwise you're going to have a really long iron into the green. As I chip up to the first green, you'll notice this huge hill right at the front of the green, and this is pretty consistent at Black Desert. The course is tough, the fairways are fairly wide open, but if you miss more than 5 or 6 yards off the fairway, you're in the black lava rock, and if you go in there, you can't play it. You won't find your golf ball. Your only hope is that it bounces out of there. With that said, the greens make this course tough, especially if they get these greens fast. There are a lot of undulations, and that alone can make this course really difficult. The second hole is a little bit of a quirky hole, and the first time you play, you might have no idea what you're supposed to do. Luckily, I just took a 1-iron here, and I had no idea where I was supposed to hit it, but where I hit it was right where I was supposed to hit it, apparently, because I just had a short wedge in here. But this is an iron off the tee. You just want to hit an iron off the tee, not a whole lot more than that, and you'll just have a short wedge into this green. Hole number 3 is modeled after the famous par 3 at the Riviera Country Club in LA. In hole number 3, the biggest thing is you got to make sure that you are on the correct side of the green. With that bunker right in the middle of the green, with the pin left here, you got to make sure to stay left, and unfortunately I did not do that here. So that ended up being a really good par save from the wrong side of the green there on number 3. And now we get to number 4, which in my opinion is one of the top 2 hardest holes at Black Desert. Now, it's a long hole, but I probably should not have hit a 1-iron off the tee here. I probably could have taken the driver, even just a little cut driver to get some extra yardage out of this thing. But the fairway's a little bit more open than it looks like from the tee box, but you do need to get some distance. Otherwise, as you'll see here, I'm going to still have well over 200 yards into this green. It's a tough green, tough second shot, and a really difficult tee shot. Hole number 5 is a very gettable birdie hole. It's 350 yards, and from the tees I'm playing today, the 350-yard markers actually weren't even built yet. So it's only about 320 for where I am today, and it's a very drivable hole for me. I actually hit this ball just over the green, but I would guess the PGA Tour will have their way with this hole. Some guys will hit irons for sure, but then they're just going to have a really short chip shot into the pin. Other guys, if they do go for the green, they'll have a good look at eagle and a fairly easy birdie on this hole. Hole number 6, don't let the water scare you too much. If you hit a good shot, the water really isn't in that much play. You got to be a decent ways right and a really long ways left in order to get into the water. So I just tell you, aim just right at the bunker that you see off the tee box, hit a good drive, and then you're just going to have a wedge in up the hill to this elevated green. Hole number 7 is another one of those holes that you really need to know what you're doing your first time that you play this hole. Now, when you play Black Desert, you do have to use a caddy nowadays. When I first played this round, I actually did not have to use a caddy. They weren't doing that quite yet, but now you do need a caddy. With that said, they will tell you where to go on this tee, because if you go too far left, you're going to end up in lava, and you really don't know how far right you can go. So make sure to ask your caddy what your line is off this tee. Luckily, I hit a really good drive here right down the middle. Now I just have an uphill 7-iron into this par 5. Hole number 8 is a fairly short par 3. It actually shares the green with hole number 2. It's a huge green. You'll never realize that it's sharing the green, but it's just a massive horseshoe green with 2 pins on it.
Good move on that one. Stop turning. Try.
Hole number 9 is a par 5, and I could see this hole playing pretty difficult, especially if there's wind. You got to make sure you stay far enough left. If you really hit it hard, you can carry the bunkers, but you're well over 300 yards to carry that. So I would recommend just staying a little bit left, even of where I hit it here, and you should have a good look into the green. I hit a great drive here, even though I was a little bit off balance, and only had a 6-iron into this green on the par 5.
Off balance, but it works.
That was so fast. That was so Wow. Oh no, good putt there. That's still hard to believe that got there, huh? It's gone.
So this is another example of just how tricky the hills are on these greens. That was a 3-putt for my par there, but the hills get pretty wild out here at times, and if you're on the wrong side of the hole, you're going to have a tough time with some of these greens. Hole number 10 is actually a lot like hole number 1. It's definitely shorter, but it kind of takes the same angle. You can go a little bit further left on this hole, so if you see that left bunker, don't be too worried about that. You could take it at it, especially for the longer hitters. But make sure you know your landing zone, especially if you're going to be playing in a tournament out here. Know your landing zone before you play this hole, because where I hit that is perfect, and now I just have a little wedge into this green. Another very undulating green there on hole number 10. And now we get to, in my opinion, the hardest hole on the golf course. And from way back here, this is a well over 500 yard par 4. It is down the hill, but just figuring out what line to hit it on is the tough part. So again, that's why you need a caddy out here. I don't blame Black Desert for making you use a caddy, because there's a lot of holes where people would have no idea where to go. That there was a perfect drive though. I could even be a little bit right of that. It should catch a speed slot if you go right of that line. However, this downhill shot in, if you're left of the green, the chip is nearly impossible. And as you'll see here, I am actually left of the green, and my chip shot has no chance to stay anywhere close to the pin. So the problem is if you go right, then you're either in the bunker or in the water. So really difficult hole here. I think this will be the hole that you see probably the highest scoring average for the PGA Tour. I just don't think you're going to see a lot of guys really being super aggressive for birdies here. I think this is probably going to be about the highest scoring average for the entire PGA Tour tournament. hole number 12 just continues down the hill after hole number 11. 12 is definitely a lot easier hole. It's still 470, but it doesn't play that long. I just hit my big cut here because really you take that left side out of play and it's not too big a deal. Just putting it right in the middle of the fairway, decently wide fairway for the most part, and then you just have a mid-iron into the green here. So once again on the green, stay below the hole. If you are above the hole, and I actually am above the hole, I just made a really good putt on this one, but if you're above the hole, it is going to be a quick putt, so be careful on your approach shot exactly where you place your second shot.
Yeah, it's good. Finally.
The 13th hole, many will consider the signature hole at Black Desert. However, it's not really a difficult par 5, especially the tee shot and the second shot. Yeah, the tee shot for an average golfer might be tough, but this here, you just hit a cut or just hit an iron out of the middle of the fairway, and you're going to be able to reach this green in 2. This is not a difficult par 5 to reach into whatsoever. In fact, it's shorter than at least one of the par 4s out here. The tricky part about this hole is the green, and once I get up onto the green, I'll show you just how tough it is. So you can see that I'm on the far back side of the green. And with the front left pin location, you have to make sure to be on the front left side of the green. If you're above the hole, beyond it, or to the right of it, you are not going to be able to get that putt close unless you hit the flag. My ball here, as you can see, it rolled, and this actually rolled all the way off the green down the hill. So be super careful. If you're above this hole, it's going to be an extremely difficult putt. Just watch what you're doing on your approach shot into this 13th hole. Hole number 14 is the easiest hole, especially for a decently long hitter. It's only about 325, and the hardest part about this hole is just figuring out exactly where the flag is. You can't see the pin, even though you're probably going for the pin more often than not. Now, you will see a lot of the PGA Tour players just hitting long irons out in the middle of the fairway and having a really short wedge in. But if you take a driver, it's really still not that big a deal to just hit a driver just short of the green or even right onto the middle of the green. As you can see here, I just have a short putt just right off the green for an eagle here, probably about 40 feet, and this is just going to lead to a tap-in birdie for me. Should be probably the easiest hole on the course for the PGA Tour players. Hole 15 has a lot to do with wind. If there's a lot of wind on this hole, it gets a lot more difficult. However, it's still a 200-yard par 3, and the green is huge. I actually hit my shot too far here, so I'm on the back side of the green and have a nearly impossible 2-putt coming all the way back down the hill. Now be careful because this does have a big false front on the front of the green, so if you're short at all, it will roll back down. That's probably why I took a little bit extra club here, just to make sure I got over. Hole number 16 is probably one of the more picturesque holes in the entire state. One thing to note is that the Utah Tech golf team actually has their training facility just to the left of this, and it's one of the nicest golf facilities that I've seen for any college. So what I would recommend is that if you are a young man or woman trying to play golf in college, look into Utah Tech, because if this is your home course and you've got a practice facility like they have here, Utah Tech is going to grow into one of the better golf schools in the country. So I highly recommend looking into Utah Tech if you are a young player thinking about playing college golf.
Might end up pretty good. Well, it kind of started turning back away a little bit.
17th hole is modeled after the postage stamp par 3, and it is a postage stamp, and you know what? The bunkers will eat your ball up here. If you land it on the left side of the green, you'll probably end up off the green or even in a bunker. Same with short and same with long. So it's a tricky hole even though it's so short. I actually did land a little bit short here and rolled back a bit, so be careful. This is all about club selection. Don't get too cute here. You just got to make sure you're right in the middle of the green. Now, unfortunately, my camera died here, so I hit a decent chip up here, and my camera actually dies about 2 seconds before I pull the trigger to hit my putt. I did actually miss this putt, so I did bogey this hole, but unfortunately, you'll notice that my camera died right as I hit the putt. The 18th hole is a par 5, and it should be reachable for most players. Honestly, you see the target that I put here in the middle of the screen. I hit my shot a little bit right, and I could still get there with my forward pretty easily. However, you could play quite a bit left of that target as well. Left does bring the bunker into play, but the further left you go off of this tee box, the better shot you have at getting easily to the green in 2. I would think that this will play quite a bit under par for the PGA Tour players. This should not be too tough a par 5. You get it in the fairway, you're definitely going to have a chance to get there in 2. Now, a couple final things to note about this golf course. I know everything looks like it's under construction, and it is. It's still under construction quite a bit. The golf course is ready to go. Golf course is perfect. It's got one of the best driving ranges. It's got definitely the biggest putting green you'll ever see. So it's definitely worth it. I know the resort is still going to take a little bit of time before it's done. However, I would highly recommend still coming to play golf here, even though it's still a little bit under construction. Give it another 2 years, and this place will be perfect. So that is Black Desert Resort, a 3-putt par for me on the last to finish at 2 over par. This will continue to grow into one of the best golf courses in the country over the next few years. So as you get the opportunities, go play here before the prices skyrocket. I know they're already discussing the potential of another golf course, but please go play here. If you're in St. George or the greater Southern Utah area, call me, and I'd love to go play golf with you out here while you're here. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and have a great day.